Good morning, everyone. It's your girls from Obscure Orations with your co-hosts Taylor and Dana. We were supposed to have a guest today, however, he came into a family emergency, so he will be rescheduled for a later date. Don't worry, we'll still have him on.
Control.
We'll figure out the dates as they get closer. I think it'll probably be the new year as everyone gets
Sometime
rescheduled.
next year.
Sometime in January or February, we'll get you in here. Don't worry, we'll get you in promptly. Um, so today's last minute episode idea is we're actually going to talk about the House of the Dragon season 2 finale. So as some of you or most of you will know, we've done the miniature episodes each week on TikTok where we talk for you're initially thinking like it would be 20 minutes. Turns out it's like 45 minutes every episode. We just counted wrong. We added a 2. It worked out fine. It's still less than an hour. So we've done the miniature episodes. We were kind of disappointed in like episode 6, so we skipped doing that episode, just threw it in with number 7. And then the finale happened last week.
And
Now,
yes, it has taken me a week to what's the word I'm looking for? Comprehend what I watched. And I will give you my opinion in a moment.
it's just I don't even have words to say how disappointed I was for that being a season finale. I just
So what I said to you and V in our little group chat is exactly how I felt, and apparently other people are feeling it too, because our friend Mark said it, and I've seen on the boards on Facebook other people saying it, and literally I said to Tay and V, I feel like I just watched a 70-minute trailer for season 3. Yep. Because nothing happened in that finale that was worthy of saying it was the season finale.
Yeah, I say that was 100%. Like, that is something that you have not for a season finale. That is your second to last episode. That would have been good. Like, had tonight been the season finale, we would have gotten that battle that's obviously going to happen over Harrenhal, or can't remember the name of the battle, but the one that's going to claim Daemon and Aemon, I think that's the battle that's going to be happening, that's going to be taking him down. It's just, it was so lackluster. That's my word for that.
Lackluster. That is a good word.
Thank you. Like a $20 word right there. It's my education. It's $20 for that word.
My $20 word.
I got a $20 word, and it's coming at you. Woo! But it's quite literally like, that is how I felt about it. It was just such a lackluster episode where it was just a whole bunch of, like, you needed a whole bunch of things to happen in order to get to the big ultimate battle that's coming. But it was 70 minutes or 70, I think it was 72 minutes. I think that's what I saw Mark, but it's 70 to 72 minutes of just little things all having to be perfectly built one on top of another. And instead of actually getting to have some sort of reward at the end of it where you're like, yes, this is the epic battle. It's coming. It's happening. Like, so, as you know, and I'm sure some of our viewers and listeners have figured out, I've been rewatching for, I think, the fourth or fifth time, Game of Thrones. And the best comparison to kind of use is Battle of the Bastards, I think it was, where They literally line everything up in the episode prior to it so that you're getting ready for it, you're getting amped up. But the reason for that is it didn't end. That wasn't a season finale. That
Right.
was just a weekly episode where they were like, okay, everything's amping up to this. Next week, you're going to fucking shit your pants because it's going to be amazing. And then the next week, you watch Battle of the Bastards. And it just blows you away because it was so epically done. And again, that could have been a season finale, just end on the Battle of the Bastards because it was so freaking well done. But they didn't. They continued. So it angers me that they felt that they should end season 2 of House of the Dragon on such a
Downer.
yeah, just such a low for
I
all of it.
mean,
Where it's like,
okay, so let's talk about those 70 minutes. And probably the only thing that was of interest was, Aegon saying, "My cock don't work, does it?"
oh my god, that part. Do you know what happens? It
And
just
now,
exploded.
now I need to ask you, because I can't remember who sent it to me, if I just saw it in one of my musings. You're rewatching Game of Thrones, so it kind of helps. Obviously, you're past the point where Joffrey is courting Marjorie, right?
Oh, way past. I'm on season 8 now.
Oh, okay. So now I'm gonna make you think back to when Joffrey was courting.
Oh, you're talking about the part where he excitedly shows
This is where
Marjorie. This is where Rhaenyra dies. She was burned alive by her brother's dragon. Well, actually, she was eaten by him, and her son was made to watch.
Yes.
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 Was that you who sent it to me?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably in my late night TikToking. What are you doing?
Yeah, because
send.
I literally got up this morning, friends, and I had to spend, well, a cup of coffee, so about 45 minutes watching all the videos that Taylor sent me yesterday, because I was pretty much off doing non-internet things yesterday. I do have a life outside of the computer.
I love that. Non-internet things.
Whereas my phone was in my purse and there it stayed for a solid 7 to 8 hours easy.
Then you add sleeping time on top of that, and I was just
yeah. So like between Taylor, my friend Jeff, I think V was in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 45 minutes watching videos on TikTok that people sent me. I didn't even go down my FYP feed.
Yeah, there was no doom scrolling. It was literally just watching everything that we sent you. So yes, chances are very high that it was a video that I sent you, because obviously when we watched,
it was foreshadowing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was one of those things that when we watched it, no one really, like in my case, it's the first few times I watched it, you never really picked up on that stuff because we didn't have a prequel book. We didn't have a prequel series.
Right.
So it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, he
We're
talks
hearing about the olden days.
Exactly. I was going to say, it was like, oh, okay, yeah. So they're talking about this chick who gets burned up and eaten by her brother's dragon. That sounds harsh. Oh, okay.
Get over it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really care. And then you start watching House of the Dragon, and now that you're invested in Rhaenyra, you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen to you.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you're like, maybe it's all a lie and she lives.
Yeah, well, you never know. They could change the series. Doesn't have to follow the book.
Well, I was going to say, so there's the one creator that I follow, and I'm pretty sure I've sent you a million of her things by now, just because she's one of the main creators, and I'm going to try and find her so that way we can remember what the hell her name is. But she was talking about all the differences between the books versus the TV series.
Okay.
And what doesn't make sense to me at all is George R. R. Martin is involved and has been involved throughout all of it. Like, he
Right.
was there for Game of Thrones, he's there for House of the Dragon, he's there for the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think it's called.
Yes.
Um, the other live action and the animations, all of it, like, he's involved with all of it, so he knows what's going on. Why would you change what you already have written down? Like, you are literally the creator. Like, I get it for things like, as much as I love, and don't get me wrong, let me enunciate for the people. I absolutely love Lord of the Rings, the movies, and the Hobbit movies. I Phlegm. Gonna die. Um, where is it? Oh yeah. So I absolutely love those movies. They're fantastic. Now, are they
As do I. You know
actually?
that.
Oh, yep. Now, you've read all the books.
Hmm.
I've read The Hobbit, Children of. I can't think of the character's name right now, but another one, and halfway through Two Towers. But I remember when I was reading it, I was getting mad because of how vastly different they are.
Yes.
Where, like I said, I absolutely love what Peter Jackson did. It was phenomenal, super well done. I will rewatch them a million times till the end of time.
Right. Same. In fact, I did
However,
last week.
I would say, however, when you go and you do that horrible thing of comparing the books to the movies, you get real mad real fast. But
Yes.
at least it makes sense in that case, because you're like, okay, J.R.R. Tolkien had nothing to do with the movies. He wasn't alive for them.
Exactly. Exactly.
He didn't get any input, because I can guarantee he would have been like, you're not changing my stories.
Oh, oh,
I spent years.
I can tell you right now, he would have been absolutely fucking livid
Hmm.
that Tom Bombadil was left out.
Oh, yes. Didn't even think
And
about
I
that one, but
mean,
yes.
if you're LOTR fan, kind of like Taylor and I are, mildly obsessed, watch it once a month, um, and are planning a dinner, a Lord of the
Uh,
Rings
I
dinner.
would say, just saying, my dream is, obviously, we're definitely going to have to do it during the fall time, because I feel like that much food needs to be eaten when it's cold, because I don't
Oh
feel
fuck
like that
yeah.
much food is going in when it's hot. Like, I feel like that would be a
That
no-no.
much food for me will be eaten over a 3 day span.
You have to eat a little bit of every meal, at least one bite. But yeah, that
Yeah,
is, like, when we do it, like, it's 100% going to be, here's our Hobbit feast for the day, all 7 meals, and we are going to be watching the Lord of the Rings extended editions as we do it.
absolutely. But what I getting back on track? What I was saying, on the Facebook pages, the fan groups. Holy fuck! Do you see so many people bitching about Tom Bombadil not being in the book, and
Yeah.
and literally saying that Jack Black would have been the best character to play him? Which I kind of agree. If you look at any illustrations, Jack Black would fit the mold perfectly. But yeah,
I say
so
he would have, I've seen that too, and he would have been amazing for that role.
yeah, I get I totally, Stephen King fan extraordinaire. I totally get the book comparison to movie/series comparison, and just losing your fucking shit over it not being the way the book is. Because yeah, the Dark Tower, that's that sham of a movie that bears my literary life mate's name.
Just the anger that you have.
Bullshit.
You
Absolute
fucked that
bullshit.
up.
And you know what? to this day, I don't even know when the fucking movie came out, but to this day, I have not watched it. I refuse to watch it. And I probably will never watch it, because if you were to ask me what my favorite Stephen King book is, I would tell you it's the Dark Tower series, all 8 books. That movie has absolutely not a fucking thing to do with those books other than character names. And I am ashamed of Stephen King for letting that happen. Mr.
Like,
King, I am ashamed.
I will still love you, but we need to talk. We need to go to therapy. This is serial. This is super serial, guys. Well, and to me, like, in a situation like that, and obviously less so than George, is that you would think that Stephen would be like, yeah, you guys are fucking up my books. Like, do them right. I literally have everything written out for you. And that's the part that I think drives me absolutely fucking batshit crazy with movies and TV shows that do not follow what they already have in a book format. It's like, okay, do you know how easy it is to be able to take this book that has the descriptions of everything, literally has the dialogue between characters for you pre-written, tells you what they're wearing, what they look like, what's surrounding them, where they are, the time of day. It tells you every single detail. And yet fucking movie creators and TV creators are like, we're going to do the opposite of everything. So you said she's rings of power.
I saw that season 2 was coming out. I'm like, fuck that noise. I haven't even finished season 1 because it was so bad. I think I was like maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and I'm like, oh, I'm not continuing with this bullshit. This is bullshit.
Yeah, the only reason we finished it was because Mama has her OCD, so she had to. So she kept bugging me. She bugged me for like 4 months straight, going, "Are we going to finish it? We have to finish it." There's
I
one
would have let her
episode
watch
left.
it on her own.
I didn't want it on my TV to stay my TV. It was, again, one of those ones where it's so horribly done, and for the dumbest fucking reasons, where it's like, okay, the amount of money that they put into that series was more than what House of Dragons did for theirs. And they look so cheap and shitty. It's like, okay, why would you, like, I know that Lord of the Rings, um the movies aren't accurate to how things are portrayed in the book. I get it. However, why wouldn't you make everything look like that? If this is supposed to tie into that, why are you not shooting? And we all know Kate Blanchett isn't actually like 7 feet tall. She had on ridiculously high platform shoes to make her taller. And then there's all the old school movie magic where it's all about angles. You could have easily
Right.
made that short. I want to say the actress is like 5'1" or 5'2" in real life. Obviously, that's how she's portrayed in the show too. It's like, okay, Galadriel didn't just randomly go, "Oh, I had a growth spurt," and go and be 7 feet tall there. Like, no, she was always that height, and she was a radiant beauty in the movie. So why would you not freaking redo it so that it matches that? Nothing against the actress. I think the actress actually does a pretty good job portraying what they're making her portray.
Yeah.
But things could have been like literally change the angle so that the camera's looking up to her always, and it makes her look bigger. Like, think about how they did Harry Potter. Hagrid, the actor who played him, was not, again, I think Hagrid's like 8 or 9 feet tall in the books. He's not actually that tall in real life.
I
Robbie
know.
was a big boy, but he wasn't that big. But all thanks to angling and distances and everything like that, they made him taller, made it better. Why would you not do that for the TV series?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Now that
On
we've gone
the
on our angry rants.
on the finale, like I said, and I stand by this 1000%. It was bad. It was so bad. It was bad, bad, bad. V pointed out something in our chat, which I didn't pick up on in the show, was that when Alicent went to talk to Rhaenyra,
yeah.
her dress wasn't green.
Yes. I
And
had
I
completely
never,
missed that too.
yeah, I missed that, and Sharp-Eyed V caught it.
Freaking V is like the one watching for
Right?
everything.
Probably going frame by frame. She also said that the tapestry at the beginning had changed.
It did.
So I missed that too. So I'm like, gonna go back sometime today and rewatch that episode. just to see those bloopers, or not bloopers, but changes that V pointed out to us.
Well, it's one of those things, like I said, I just don't understand why George lets them and even encourages them in some cases. Like I saw the name of the TikTok creator, by the way, is Game of Thrones Historian.
Okay.
Absolutely love her. She's the one who I send you the most stuff because she goes through it. She's read all of the books. She's able to dissect everything, talk about everything. It's great. But like just the things, I think it was her who shared a video about George R. R. Martin saying that the reason that he didn't have, I think the character's name is Stoneheart, and that's Catelyn Stark revivified, but because she'd been dead for so long, when she got brought back to life, she wasn't herself. She was essentially a monster who is only hell bent. Well, yeah. So she becomes like a completely different character. Now, back when the TV show was first coming out, I was excited to see that because some of my friends had told me about it. I'm like, oh, she sounds freaking epic and cool. That's so cool that they can bring her back. And instead, they took that part completely out. And apparently, since then, George has said, oh, yeah, he's remiss in the fact of um, not having added that part in. He's like, okay, well, the show didn't want to take away the specialness of how another character had been revived. It's like, okay, it doesn't take away from anything. It quite literally brings back a character, and the show director and that kind of stuff was talking about the fact they're like, well, the actress did such a phenomenal job on that final scene that she was in the Red Wedding that we didn't want to lessen that impact. It's like, no, you guys are assholes. You should have put that in because it's a major plot point in the stories from what I've been given to understand. So I just don't understand why you would let people change the things that you already have written. Like, I know the ending of the entire series hasn't happened yet because he's not done writing it. And
we all know at the speed in which he writes, we may never get an ending.
Well, I just saw last night, and I can't remember if I sent it to you or not in my million of videos.
Know how it ends.
He'll go to your grave. Ma, it finally happened. He finally finished. But I think it was the Game of Thrones historian who did a video about it saying, oh no, it wasn't her. It was another guy talking about how apparently George is struggling with writing it because he didn't know at the time that a character he killed off he'd need later on in the franchise.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
So apparently it's taking him longer because he's like, oh shit, I should have left that one alive. It would have been okay. I need them to do whatever. So I guess there's the fan theory about it's one of three people, and the main one that the guy was talking about was that it was Maester Aemon that he killed off and didn't actually have to just because he dies of old age. He didn't get murdered or anything like that, like everyone else does.
Oh, okay, right. I
So
had
they were
to
talking.
think about who that was for a minute.
So I guess that's the stumbling point that George currently has. It's like, okay, we'll figure out a different way because he's dead. I mean, he really dead. Find a different thing. And I saw, and again, this hurts the brain. Be prepared. I watched a video on the TikToks, and it was
Oh,
talking
the
about,
TikToks.
oh, hail the TikToks. They are our leader. Talking about the vision that Damon had when he touched the werewood tree. And he has those flashes of the future, and he sees Dany sitting there all naked with the dragon babies on
Right.
her, and the three-eyed raven. And I can't remember, there's something else. Oh, obviously the big thing that everyone's very upset about, everyone talking about, that the blue guy that showed up in it saying that's what the hell, why'd they change the Night King? That's not what he looks like.
Right.
Which to me, it just looked like one of his generals. Like, it didn't look like the Night King. It looked like one of his other, like one of the guys who ride around on horses.
I thought it looked like Damon.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
So I watched a show with my husband, and he has to put up with me churning and spouting off at him because I churned and I was like, "Didn't that look like Damon?" And he was like, "Huh?" Because he plays on his phone while we watch TV.
I didn't even catch it. Now, see, now we're gonna have to go back and rewatch it just to try and figure out some of those things.
No, because like honestly, what I interpreted was Damon was seeing into the future, and I interpret because again, I thought the Night King looked like Damon. I thought it was kind of like Damon's going to turn into the Night King, and that flash forward was showing him his fate. But I've never read the book, so I know I'm totally wrong. So. But I'm just like, these are the hamster wheels that turn in my mind.
52 different hamsters.
You know what they say, if you give 500 monkeys a typewriter, they'll make a book. If you give 52 hamsters a wheel in my brain, I'll have a thought.
One of them's going to come out and it's going to be like, all right. Well, so obviously, I mean, I know, well, I shouldn't say no. Based on the TV show, because I didn't realize how far behind the books are. With how thick those fucking things are, I thought they were a lot further ahead. I didn't realize that as of right now, someone did a recap on the books just to say, and I think I sent you, it was one of those like still images where it's like, oh, Bran is here,
Yeah.
Daenerys is here, and they are all very much nowhere near where the TV show is saying they are. It's like, oh yeah, Bran is still out in the wilds learning from the three-eyed raven. None of that other stuff has happened whatsoever. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm curious what the book's going to do with it for the, what are they called? Children of the Forest. Those tree people.
Dance.
When they show that like 2-second clip about how they took the first man and turned him into the Night King by shoving a shard of obsidian into his heart.
Yes.
So I know according to the show, obviously it wouldn't have been Daemon, but I could see Daemon, like, talk about a good general to have in your undead army. Can you imagine undead Daemon? He's a problem with the living. You make him an undead guy, and he's going to have no qualms about doing anything. But
and I was glad to see that they toned down on his hallucinations.
I was
Other than when he touched the tree, because I
well.
was really, really sick and tired of seeing him, his descent into madness with him, like with his naked mother. It's not necessary. Oh, you have to forgive me, friends. I have a tortie, which is a tortoiseshell cat, which is a reverse calico female that has become obsessed with waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning to give her belly rubs.
She's like, I don't see your hands ain't doing anything, so they should be petting me.
It has been 22 years since I've had a newborn.
She decided to sprout late in life. She was
my
like, you
my
know what?
my Fitbit's like the next morning. My Fitbit's like, you only slept for 4 hours and 29 minutes. Why?
You're like, well, what happened was.
So if you see me yawning, I apologize. It's a blanket apology for my lack of sleep.
You're like, I'll just do this as a blanket covering for the entire episode, so that way I'm set.
Yeah, it's not because I'm bored with what Taylor's saying, I promise.
You're like, I have soapbox moments, I promise you. But one of the things that I heard about was that the director or producer, whatever the guy is, for the episode, apparently is saying that that whole thing where Damon touches the tree, he was saying, oh, well, it's not actually a prophecy. It's just showing him, like, what a future could be, sort of thing. Like, okay, so it's not a prophecy or showing him the actual future. He's like, well, it hasn't happened in the book, so it's not really there. We just wanted something to kind of put in. It's like, okay, so if it's not, why would you show the three-eyed raven? Why would you show Daenerys when she actually becomes the unburnt? Why would you show a White Walker? Trying to think of the other ones. So there's 6 pictures. The dragons coming back into the realm, whatever else there was to it. It's like, why would you then show all the foreshadowing of everything that's to come in A Song of Ice and Fire? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Like, that doesn't. It's just.
Yeah. But I mean, we've come to accept that at any given time in a movie / show series, they'll throw a character in that makes absolutely no sense and was not in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it in The Hobbit. Legolas didn't need that love interest because she fell in love with the dwarf and she's not in the fucking book. Why is she there?
I would say, not to mention,
you know what it was? It's because you get that one person that says you can't have a whole movie without a woman in it.
Well, and to me,
because in The Hobbit, in an unexpected journey,
mm-hmm. And there's not
only there. If that character hadn't been created, there would be no women. You wouldn't see a woman until they got to the Lonely Mountain. They went to the town. I can't remember the name of the town. What's his face's daughters?
Yes. Yep.
So
I hadn't even thought about that fact,
you probably had some stick up the ass woman liver on the writing team that was like, you're gonna have a woman in that first movie. So let's create a character because J.R. Tolkien's not rolling over in his grave as it is.
Well,
sorry.
I mean,
me ran over.
Or say you think about it, even Legolas wasn't in The Hobbit. He exists, obviously, like we know that he's in Lord of the Rings, but he's not actually in The Hobbit at any point in time. He's trying to think if he even gets a mention in it.
Yeah, he
does he get a mention?
He shows up in the Battle of the Five Armies Well, no, he shows up in The Hobbit because he's talking to his father.
I don't remember him actually being in The Hobbit though, like the book, like the movies, obviously, but in the books
Oh,
or
in
in
the
the
book?
book.
No, he wasn't meant. He's not in the books.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I'm like, I don't remember him being in the book at all.
Sorry, specify.
sorry. Yeah, well, I know he's in the movies. Kind of hard to miss him bobbing around everywhere. We're just like, okay.
Boop, boop,
Um, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Legolas, but he's not in the books. So why add him in? Like, I don't understand. It's something that I find Hollywood does a lot of, where they add in characters that either don't exist or aren't there or don't have a major role, and then take other characters. So I'll use the example in House of the Dragon that obviously, because we haven't read the books, we don't know about the character. But the character Nettles, I think is her name, um, is a random character that becomes a big part of the story in the Dance of Dragons. And I think she's the one who is supposed to be riding Sheep Killer or whatever, the one that Damon's youngest daughter came across. Which, let's talk about that for a minute.
Oh, the one that abandoned those 3 children and went off to find a dragon.
That part makes me so angry because it was literally, I laughed and loved it when you also said the same thing, because I had said to my mom while we were watching, I'm like, oh yeah, because this is realistic. She abandoned her post. She's supposed to be watching her like little nephew brothers and watching these poor children.
That's so Southern, nephew brother.
So she literally abandons them. At no point in time do any of the guards turn around and go, excuse me, lady, I don't even think I know her name off the top of my head. They use her so rarely.
I know.
Bela? No. That's the elder sister. Crap, I can't think of the younger one's name. But either way, none, like, you're gonna tell me that the escort doesn't turn around and go, yo, you're a royal person, like you're not allowed to go off by yourself. And here she is traipsing the countryside, freezing herself to death during the night, looking for this dragon that she's
Drinking
not even
stream water.
like. All of these things drove me up a wall. And it's like, okay, but the whole point was that you're supposed to have another character, not her, that would take over riding the sheep eating one. And instead, they've got rid of the character. They now have her doing it because, from what I recall, I think it was her dragon who the egg hatches at some point in time, and was supposed to make like the world's prettiest dragon. Like, it's supposed to be this vibrant pink with gold. I was going to say filigree, but gold accents.
Ew.
And it was supposed to be a really pretty dragon. And instead, they're like, so we're going to get rid of this one. We're going to get rid of Nettles. We're going to have the youngest daughter come over and take over the sheep eating one.
Let me see if I can find her name.
Thank you. I was going to say, I can't think of her damn name to save my life. But it's just mind-boggling to me. I'm like, why would you get rid of characters when they're in books for reasons? They're there for reasons to help progress the story, but to also tell other stories that are important to it. I'm like, why wouldn't you have them in it? Like, she deserves to be in it. I would have loved to seen another bastard dragon seed come through and be like, yo, I got this dragon, y'all. And just come in and just fire everything. And instead, that character's lost. There were a long list of characters that I think I sent you the other night that were just a few of them that were actually taken off. That they were like, oh yeah, we don't have these characters anymore. We got rid of them. It's like, but why? Why not keep the characters to add into the awesomeness and continue to make the story that George R.R. Martin made? George, why aren't you fighting for your characters?
George don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I say, George, you need to pay attention to what's happening here because they're killing off your characters and we're not okay with it. Please change this.
Rhaena.
Is her name Rhaena?
Yeah, Rhaena Targaryen.
There we go.
Rhaena.
Yes, Rhaena.
Sorry, folks.
I'm glad that you looked it up. I was trying to sit here. I'm like, it's again one of those things. She's basically this series version of Rickon Stark. That poor kid. Like, still to this day, when we saw that episode, Battle of the Bastards, Serpentine, you little bastard, Serpentine! Zigzag, throw in some rolls or something. Just him running in a straight line and then shocked when he gets pegged by the arrow. It's like, well, had you thrown in some bobs and weaves, maybe he would have missed you.
Well, they all can't be Olympic runners. He was what, 6? 5 or 6.
I'd say by the time that, according to the TV show, they aged them all up. So I think he was like 12, I want to say. But I think in the book he's only like 6, but in the book he's still alive.
Yes.
So in the books, one of the reasons why, and I swear to God, listeners, one of these days we're actually going to read/listen to the Game of Thrones books. Because apparently, by the sounds of it, there's full-on stories explaining about Osha, like what Osha and Rickon are doing, because they split off from Bran and the two lordling wildling people.
Yeah.
I hate change.
So do you think Rhaena is going to be able to tame that dragon? The goat eater one.
If it's true and she truly has taken that spot of Nettles, then yes. And judging by how they've changed everything and gotten rid of that character, because I guess we would have already met her like several episodes ago. I think next season she's going to take on the story of Nettles, so it'll be her own story mixed in with Nettles' story, and she'll be flying for the Team Black and laying waste to everywhere. I'm trying to remember how I've read that one dies, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sure it's some horrible death within the first.
Oh, I'm sure too.
Probably within the first. It won't look like it's only been 2 weeks, but for some weird reason, it'll have only been 2 weeks, and everything will have happened in it.
I know. And so, do you have any inkling how long we're going to have to wait for season 3? Have you heard anything? I heard 2 years.
So I've seen the same things as you, where it's saying that it's going to be 2 years, which I sincerely hope is a lie.
Lies!
Yep. Because there's absolutely no reason, and people can disagree with me all they want. That's fine. That's up to you. There's absolutely no reason TV series need to have 2 years between episodes or between seasons. There is absolutely none. Like in this case, I get why it took longer was because they ran into the writer's strike.
And the writer's strike.
So at least that to me makes sense. I'm like, okay, fine, I get it. There's a legitimate cause for it.
Yeah, but there's nothing now.
I was going to say, as of right now, there's absolutely nothing. So there is no reason they should not be able to have it out next year. Now, I'm sure people are probably going to complain or say things about it being like, oh, well, they have to do the special effects and they have to do the shooting on the location, all this kind of crap. I'm like, you know what? There's no reason. I have watched fans make freaking TV series or movies, and trust me, in the Star Wars fandom, there are actually some really phenomenally well-made fan movies that you can find for free on YouTube. Their special effects are like freaking top-notch, and they're doing this out of their homes. And you're just like,
Damn.
holy shit balls. Like, okay,
Excuse me.
like
Anybody
they
can buy a green screen though, right?
well, there are say you
Or
can buy
make one.
greens, or say you can make them, you can buy them. And that to me just shows how quickly you can actually get stuff done and it still looks good. Don't worry about making it look 1,000,000% real or anything like that. To me, that's one of those things I'm like, look, we know dragons are not real. We can look outside our windows and be like, no, no dragon today. Drogon didn't come over here. Crap.
Kind of wish we could.
Oh, fuck.
I'd
I should not
like
be
to
trusted.
see a dragon.
I mean, I would be one of those bastards going like, I would learn High Valyrian like that. I would go running into into the forest. Likiri, Likiri, virus.
Pick me, pick me.
Pick me, Sea Smoke picks me. Sitting there jumping, I would probably be the first one to die by flames, or the dragons would be running away from me, going, "Oh my God, she's back again! Why
Not
does she
her.
keep? Why does she keep finding us? Let me love you." So I mean, like, if I know full well that if I had dragons, I would be known as the Mad Queen because I 100% support the Mad King and even Mad Danny by the end when she's like, light him up. Like, yes. Like, I would have no hesitation with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, just do it, do it, do it. There'd be very few people left in the world, I'm sure.
So, what do you think is going to come of Alicent going to Rhaenyra there at the end of the trailer for season 3?
I like just referring to it as the trailer. So I'm not really sure, just because I don't know if that actually happened in the book or not.
Right.
But
And yeah, well, we don't know half of what happened in the book yet till we
yeah,
read it.
I said, we're going to do it, guys. We're going to do it. I have the audiobook. We're going to do it.
Oh, you have the audiobook?
I actually, with one of my credits for Audible, I bought the audiobook for it because it's such a thick book. It would take me ages.
Who reads it?
Um, Let me take a little look-see look. A little looky-loo over here. Okay, hold on. Let me get through all my Star Wars books here. There you are. Who reads you? Simon Vance?
I have no idea who that is. Can you, excuse me, like going through puberty here. Can you share audiobooks?
I don't know. I know one of my friends did because I actually have um he gave me all of the Harry Potter audiobooks. So I literally have them, like he sent me them and I have them all downloaded onto my phone. So I know there's a way to do it. I just don't know how.
Oh.
So I mean I have a lot of audiobooks.
Because I was going to say, if you could share them with me, I would listen to it while I cross stitch.
Oh, that'd be the perfect time to do it. Just because of the it's I enjoy the book from what I've read so far, but it is very much a has that historical read to it just because it's not like the actual Game of Thrones series where it's like, here, okay, we have all of it ready. So I mean, it's a 26 and a half hour audiobook to give people an idea of how long it is.
Damn.
I mean, it's a thick book. She thick. Whereas
She
like my other,
thick.
I would say to get the comparison, my other books tend to be about, I think like 11 hours long. Let me just take
Yeah.
a look over here at me. Yeah, like 13 and a half, I think is one of my longest ones. Oh, 14 and a half, 15 and a half. Timothy's on with his long rights. So yeah, they all tend to be on the shorter side compared to his. And then like I have ones that are, oh, there you are. I have one that's only 6 hours and 41 minutes long.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, so a tiny bit of a difference. It's like I can't even think of the size of it, but it's a very tiny amount of the what's it? Fire and Blood. That's the name of it. But yes, I would say I will end up listening to it just because it is such a long, drawn out book, and there's
Yeah.
so much to try and take in and learn from it. So I'm curious to read it just to be able to compare it to the TV show. And then I'm sure I'm going to be mad because there's going to be a bunch of changes to it that I'm going to sit there and be like, George, why'd you let this happen? And it's going to be curious to see if parts of it, like you said, like the Allison thing, is that part of the book?
Yeah.
If it's not, why did you add it in? Like, is it actually going to make a difference? Is the timeline true to it? Like, is she actually going to go take over the Iron Throne? And what
Probably
was that? She
not.
said in the next, I want to say it was, I want to say Allison said in 3 days' time, come to King's Landing and like we'll open the doors to you, kind of thing. So I'm curious, like, okay, in season 3, is that what's going to happen? Is it going to be a quote unquote 3-day thing? She's going to show up there and go take over. So it's just the timeline is really hard to try and put together in this damn series because
Yeah.
so much happens, and I feel like some of it doesn't make sense. Like for I don't know how long Damon was there losing his marbles for.
Sorry. Well, the way that they quote unquote aged the show was probably like 2 days.
That was exactly my thought. I'm like, okay, how many times did he have those sleep hallucinations?
Yeah, but anybody can nap, right? He's doing nothing. Just might be napping in the afternoon.
And I'm
It's just like,
curious. I'm curious now too because oh no, should they actually acknowledge her? Never mind. I was trying to think for a second. I'm like, did they ever actually acknowledge that damn witch that they had there? They did. They finally acknowledged her in the episode after everyone was like, I think she's a ghost. I think he's hallucinating so much that there's a ghost following him.
I was going with ghosts because I was like for sure thinking that that's what she was because he was fucking hallucinating.
Well, I wondered about that. And then I saw a video on TikTok that was also saying the same things as me. I'm like, okay, maybe she is a ghost. But then I remembered the very next episode, they were like, oh, yeah, lady, whatever her name is, lady Scottish accent, went went over, and suddenly the Tully, yeah, Lord Tully. Suddenly, Lord Tully is dead now. Oh, what a shame! She tried real hard to save him. I'm like, I don't think she really tried to save him.
Did
Like,
she?
mm.
that little dog with the side eye.
Yeah.
Did she?
And then let's talk about that traitorous bastard. Um, see, Lord Umba, I think is his. Because I don't think he's not a Stark, but the guy who came to Damon and said, "We'll follow you. Rhaenyra is not good enough. She's going to mess things up."
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
I hate him so much. I hate all of the people who betray Rhaenyra. Like
Well,
I'm
yeah,
all for
because
that
we're
girl
Team
winning.
Black.
Yep. I would say, and he's just like so. If I were Rhaenyra, anytime that I even got a whiff of treachery, those people would die. Whether I fed them to my dragon or I found someone to poison them or kill them in their sleep, something. But they would die. Like he would have been dead instantly. The first time that he spoke against me, we were like, huh, who's your successor? I'm gonna go have lunch with him. Don't worry. Don't worry. I just want to go meet your son. It's fine. And then suddenly, whoop, he fell down the stairs. We're like, oh yeah,
He must have slipped. The stone was wet.
what a shame. Oh, yeah, it was bone dry in there. I don't know. Maybe he peed himself and fell. It's treacherous. These stairs, they're very uneven. They're worn funny. So I mean, like, I absolutely hate him with a passion. And again, I hadn't noticed it while watching it, so I'll have to catch it on my second viewing. Where he actually, when everyone starts to kneel to Rhaenyra, he is like trying to work his way out of the throng of people
Oh.
and get free of it. I don't know if it's right when they're kneeling or right when they get up from kneeling, but he is like
So,
trying to hightail it out. I'm like, you motherfucker.
so that's something I'll have to pick up on when I rewatch. And maybe I'll do it tomorrow when Norm's working. But I don't know if he's gonna want to rewatch it. Too fuck that. I mean, but yeah, he may not want to rewatch it. But yeah, I'll rewatch it tomorrow while I'm cross stitching and see what else I can pick up that I may or may have missed, like that part, him
Yep.
sneaking off.
Well, I say there's several parts that now I'm looking, I'm like, okay, it's still overall to me like it was not a well done finale. Like I
No,
liked it as far as if you took away the fact that it was a finale, then I remember like, you know what? They did a good job building. So they got all of the storyline, so to speak, like all of the dialogue out of the
right.
way. So they moved that out of the way, kind of like how, okay, now I'll tell people right now, I absolutely fucking hate season 8 of Game of Thrones because they fucked it up. And it's worse this second time through because now I'm noticing all of the plots they fucked up. Number one, looking at you, Bran. I can never be a lord of anything. Oh yeah, I'm here to be the king of the entire 7 kingdoms. Don't mind me. Like,
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Bran.
and it's like, okay, number one, no one likes you. You're a douchebag. Go away.
Like
Number two,
seriously, if it wouldn't have hurt my feelings if they'd left him out of the whole fucking series. I know he was pertinent to the storyline, but it would not have hurt my feelings if they had left him out because he fucking annoys me that bad. Okay,
I
yeah,
feel
over.
nope, I completely agree. And I feel like it'll be different with reading the books because as of right now, he hasn't become that asshole that he is in the TV series where they make him monotone and he's so judgmental and, oh, I'm no longer your brother. No, you're still his brother. You're still all of their brother. It doesn't change that you're the fucking Stark born. Like, yes, you're the new three-eyed raven. But guess
Yeah,
what? You're still a Stark and you're still related to them. They're still your siblings. You're just going to outlive them. Stop being a dick. God, I hate him in the show so much by that point. But I don't even remember where my rant was originally going with this. I'm like, Bran makes me so angry. He angers me so goddamn much.
I know it's terrible.
Like, is just oh, I remember where I was going with it now. Like, I was okay with majority of the season 8, like the first 5 episodes. It's that
Okay,
last episode that makes me so very angry because they fuck up so much of it. Number one, I hate what they do with Danny. Like,
oh
you
yeah,
literally make her the prince or princess that was promised. Um, so she was supposed to be sitting on the throne or Jon Snow should have sat on the throne, either one, or preferably both of them. Like, they were a happy little couple. They should have been together. They could have ruled together. I'm sure it would have been a fucking fantastic dynasty then. Now, what I was going to compare it to is that the episode, so episode 2, I think it is, when they're getting ready for the big battle against the Night King.
Okay.
And that entire episode is just nothing but a shit ton of dialogue coming in. They're building the story, they're putting it all together, explaining everything, showing how everything connects. I'm like, okay, I love that because it brings everything together. And then the next episode is the actual battle with the Night King. And it is nothing. I'm trying to remember if there's actually any dialogue. I think there might be like 10 lines or something like that. Like, it was a ridiculously low amount of dialogue in the entire episode. And that was just perfection. Like, that's how I thought they were going to do this episode, where this not truly a finale, guys, just saying, where they did all this story building, showing like, okay, Aegon's fleeing the capital. Interesting. He's fleeing with the Lord Strong there. Weird choice. You should know what he does with your mother's feet. Just saying, bud.
Lars.
Ew. What's her face there? Alicent wants to run off with her daughter to protect her. There's the new bastards that have just come in. The Rhaena finding the sheep killer. All these different things. Like, it's throwing together all these awesome weaves. And it's going to be like, okay, this is going to build to an amazing episode next week. And instead, there's nothing. Because now we're done.
We get the shit end of the stick.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh yeah, that was actually our season finale. It's like, I beg your pardon?
Say what now?
You did what now with the what? What do you mean it's my season finale? Like, no, all you did was give me storyline, which, don't get me wrong, I do love story, and I love that these shows are story driven because they tell a really good story. Right. But in no circumstances ever should you end a story driven action show on just armies marching off. Like, nope.
So have you gone further, like in the book, or anybody that you know that's read the book, have they said where Lars is taking Aegon? Like, where are they going? Your lands are about to be set on fire by dragons fighting dragons. The fuck you gonna hide, right?
Yeah, that's the part that I'm confused about how the TV show is doing it versus what I've seen about what happens in the book. So that's the part that I'm very confused about, is because from what I've gathered, it's that Aegon's supposed to be like, Aegon's down for the count for, I thought it said, an entire year.
Right.
Because he would sleep 9 out of every 10 hours. And
off of the poppy.
That'll kick you on your ass right there.
Pure opium. Woo!
Yep. The original OG. But
the OG narcotic.
Oh yeah, baby. But from what I've gathered, like, he's supposed to be down and out, and basically, like, essentially he's in a coma for like the entire year. And Aemon rules for a while, so I'm just like, I don't understand timing, and I don't remember seeing anything about him leaving the capital. So I'm very confused about that part. Like, the part in the book, I'm at whatever, the 100 pages into the book. And
Good to know you haven't got any further in the 8 weeks.
No, God, no. I haven't even touched. I've read other books. Like, I read 2 different comics, like an Avatar comic, and then I read this, oh my God, I read this god-awful one.
Oh, Lord.
I wanted my life back. It was not a long one, but it took forever for me to read because it was just so bad. Called Legends of Isis, the Scarab Queen. Now, I'm sure there's people out there who probably love it or like it. I did not.
Apologize if you did.
It's just, for me, it
So
was just
sorry
so
for your bad
bad.
taste in comics.
Yes, that's exactly it. I was like, oh my god, that just the story and jumping all over the place. It made me so angry. Like, oh my god, it was so bad. It was just so bad. So I read that and finished that the other day. I'm like, huh. Now I've also been reading the second Thrawn trilogy from Star Wars, the Ascendancy trilogy for any of the Star Wars nerds out there. And I have, I think, like 4 chapters left in the book. And I legitimately just stopped reading it cold turkey because I'm not ready for it to end. So I've avoided reading for like the past 3 weeks.
You realize that whether you read it or not, it happened. It's gonna end.
Yes, but if I avoid it, it never happens. You should ask Mama how long I made her wait before we watched the series finale of Spartacus. We were on a roll. We watched every single episode. We were loving it. Then we got to the last one, and suddenly I just went off on a tangent. I was putting on everything else but that, and she turned to me. I think it was probably like 2 months later. She's like, "So we're ever gonna fucking finish Spartacus or what?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I guess.
Like, well, if we don't finish it, then Spartacus never dies. She was just like, "Some days I hate you." I'm like, I am the exact opposite of my mom. My mom is the OCD. She's like, she needs to, once she starts a series, she needs to finish it.
No matter how bad it is.
Yep. I'm going to say, no matter how much she hates a series. So there's 2 shows right now that are fully hers. I'm not touching them ever again because I despise them. One is called Succession.
Okay.
And I literally watched season 1, episode 1. I wanted to pluck my eyeballs out because I was like, this is just so bad. And when we finished that episode, I angrily got up and grabbed my stuff to go to work. I'm like, I just wasted the past hour and however many minutes watching this stupid shit instead of something that I actually like to watch. And she's like, so we'll watch. I'm like, no, you are watching all of this on your own. So I left her that one, and I left her the show called The Bear. That is another one.
The restaurant one?
Yes.
I fucking love that show.
I hate it because it is too much anxiety and stupidity in one show for me. So literally the first episode that we watched, I turned to Mama, and by the time that we finished the episode, my fists were clenched. I was just watching the TV. I'm like, I watch TV to be relaxed. I don't watch TV to want to murder people on it because they're being stupid and arguing over stupid things and not doing what they're told. I'm angry. And she looked at me and went, it's okay, maybe it gets better. I think I watched 4 episodes of it.
So I will tell you something about that show. The scruffy looking big guy, I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah. The one that they use for the
fixing everything.
I would say fixing everything.
He is a Canadian chef. Matty Matheson is his name. So he also writes for the show.
Oh.
And believe it or not, watched an interview with him after season 1, and he said that how it's happening in the show is exactly what goes on in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I mean, I like the fact that you're seeing all the arguing and all the shit that's happening, and his name David Allen White, the lead guy, Lip
so.
from Shameless, Philip from Shameless. That's how I know him. Seeing his struggles with mental health.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. It took me a few episodes to warm up to it, but then I got like totally invested, and then Norm and I just like binged, and then the third season just came out and we binged that in one night.
Yeah.
And while we were eating Maddie Matheson's mac and cheese. They sell it at Walmart. It's delicious.
You're like, this is fantastic.
He literally has a flavor called cracked pepper. So
Crack pep.
Cracked pep. And he doesn't use macaroni noodles. They're like hollow round noodles, and they're a little bit long and they're hollow.
Okay, yeah.
And he has very specific instructions on how you have to cook that mac and cheese. And it's good. It's really good. The box is very plain.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. We've got a couple of his barbecue sauces, his dipping sauces, his salad dressings in the fridge. He's got good food. I love watching him on TikTok. He's so rude and raw and honest when he cooks. It's refreshing. I mean, you have Gordon Ramsay that'll, slap your face between two slices of bread and say, "I've made an idiot sandwich." And you laugh, you're like, but then you have the Maddie Matheson who just makes fun of himself while he's cooking, because he is such a big guy and he's like fully tattooed and he's got the long hair and he wears a beanie, and yeah, it's just sausage fingers is what he calls himself. It's great. He's a fun guy. Here's me. I just did a Maddie Matheson plug. Woo! It's an unpaid advertisement.
You're like, watch it.
Look at my on TikTok friends.
See, I was saying, I love that aspect of it. Like, that's something cool to know about it. But the show for me just spikes my anxiety and my anger. So I'm like, nope, because it was my mom's friend Kelly who was like, oh my God, I just need someone to fucking watch it so I can talk about it with them. And her husband won't watch it. We tried watching it. I'm like, I can't do it. It makes me not even irrationally angry. It makes me legitimately angry. Because
yeah, I mean, that's you're entitled to your emotions on how you feel about a show, right? You're not right, but
to be fair, it's how our relationship works, because it's no different than you're entitled to your incorrect opinions about Sigourney Weaver in the Alien movies. But I still love you anyways. People are probably watching this, they're like, the fuck?
Yeah, so I do not like the Alien movies. I think they're ridiculously stupid. And I don't like Sigourney Weaver as an actress, and I just ruined Taylor's life by saying that.
Meanwhile, me on the other side, I'm like, I fucking love her. I have had a thing for her since I was a young adult. I absolutely love the Alien movies. I watch them at least once a year. She's so much like, fuck them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I prefer John Carpenter's The Thing. It was, I thought it was way better done, and Kurt Russell. I mean, hey.
People are just like, how are they friends? Like, we like completely different things, but we have the best friendship ever.
She's the north end of the magnet. I'm the south.
We just kind of stand on our end. Hello. We're fantastic. We're always trying to chase each other. It's great.
V's right in the middle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, V's just like, I really like all of it. We're like, what? You can't like all of it.
Oh, I can't wait till she gets here.
Oh my God, it's gonna be amazing.
We're gonna have so much fun.
I was gonna say, and anyone who follows us on the TikToks and all that fun stuff, there will be videos and stuff like that of the three of us together. There will definitely be cross promotion that will go on, just because V's already like, yeah, we're gonna make fun videos.
Well, like, that and we're planning that super fun road trip on that Sunday to Toronto.
Oh, for the bookstore?
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe a dragon tattoo.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Ink me up, bitches. Ink me
And
up.
you know what? We can take Pedro.
Oh.
Okay,
Just
so
to clarify.
So to clarify for you, so my husband and I had experienced a issue with our 2018 Nissan Kicks. I love that car. Hank, that's my boy. But Hank's fallen apart. Not fallen apart, but when you start sinking money into it every year. Sorry, Hank, time to retire.
Yeah.
So Hank, we have literally been carless now for 11 days, and we will be carless now until Thursday, maybe Friday. Hank is supposed to get fixed on Wednesday, and what it was the springs that are attached to the struts on the wheels, all four were broke. Like, our car was a health hazard. So they can't even release the car back to us because it's not safe to drive. To get the part was a 2-week wait, of course, because it's my life. So on Saturday, yesterday, we borrowed my mom's minivan and we went car shopping. And we purchased a 2025 Chevy Trax.
And it looks nice.
It's white. It's just not my optimal color. And that's okay, because the red one I wanted sold in like 8 hours. And Rafi, our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful salesman at Premier Cadillac on Division Road, Windsor, Ontario. Shameless plug.
You're all about those today.
He was very forward and upfront in telling us, okay, I understand that you're getting your car back in 4 days and you want to do a trade-in, but I cannot hold the car for you because they're literally flying off the parking lot. Fuck. So, I looked at Norm looked at me, and we signed the papers. And it was so funny because, you meet with your salesman, you go for the test drive, it's great. Car is smooth like fucking melted butter, I'm telling you. Like, you guys, you're gonna be able to have a party in the back seat. There's that much room.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. We get back, Norm has coffee, we're hashing out details, talking financing. Then he says, okay, he goes, I'm gonna send you over to the finance manager. You guys have talk with him. Perfect. We go in there. He's like, hi, my name's Ryan. Sits down, shakes our hands, and he looks at the paper and he goes, Norman and Dana Sarek. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I can't believe you got our last name right on the first try. Like, nobody ever gets my last name right on the first try.
I still to this day don't know how to say it, so I'm like, Dana. Dana and Norm.
So he looks at me at us and he's like, he goes, I only know how to say it. He goes, because I actually went to school with the Sam Sarek. I'm like, Samantha? He's like, yeah, she's in my grade 10 math class. I'm like, my daughter?
So you're going to give us an extra deal?
He did. Like, got a little extra features on the car. Undercoating and rust protection. But
you're like, fuck yeah.
No, it was just so funny because while him and Norm were talking, I sent Sam a message and I'm like, do you remember Ryan Gagnon from high school? She's like, oh my God, is he dead? That escalated quickly. I'm like, no.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, he's doing the financing for our new car. She's like, oh, thank fuck. And then she's like, he's Josh DeBono's really good friend. I'm like, So I'm telling Ryan this while we're chatting, right? And he's killing himself out. He's like, "Well, thank her for not letting me die."
Yeah. Oh shit.
But it was
Bit
just
of a
so funny,
jump there, Sam.
like we buy a car and it was like literally 6 degrees of our family.
It was like the when we went out for breakfast, you, me, and V, and they were like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, except it's even fewer than that for people we don't know that we know.
So yeah, so hopefully Thursday after my class we can go sign the papers and bring Pedro home. Yes, I named my car Pedro.
Yes, I was going to say, and that is why she named it Pedro, because if she
So
can't have Pedro in real life, then
I'll
she's
have
going
him
to
in
at least.
Carpo.
I was going to say she's
I'm
going to
gonna
have him in
ride
the
him one
fields.
way or another. Don't watch this episode, Mom.
It's so good. Norm's gonna wonder why you're going for so many car rides now. I just need to ride Pedro around the block. Don't worry. Bumpy road.
And I'm not even shitting you. Like, honestly, look up the Chevy Trax. Like you know how you have the little screens on, like, you know my Nissan Kicks had the little screen for my satellite radio. That's enormous.
Right?
It's
I they've gotten
huge.
big.
Like, I could watch TV on the son of a bitch.
You're like, well, while I'm driving, I'm gonna have Pedro on.
Narcos, anyone?
Just you sitting at the side of the road. I'm watching Pedro while I'm in him. What's wrong, Ossifer?
Yeah, so when I told Taylor, I sent Taylor and V a picture, and Taylor's like, "Does she have a name?" And I'm like, "He." My cars
Silly
are
me.
not females. My cars are always male. My brother's car is named Katya.
Oh my god.
After the drag queen.
The moment you said it, seems so fitting.
Yeah, he's really bummed today because he missed Pride. The Pride parade was this morning.
Right?
And
Yes.
he had to work.
He's like, how am I supposed to flash my gay everywhere? God damn it.
Exactly. Be a smidge more flamboyant about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he could be any gayer. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's like me when I'm wearing my plaid, going, "Gee, I wonder how I could be gayer."
like that line, in Bohemian Rhapsody, when Freddie's talking to Roger Taylor. I had to think of the drummer's name. I'm like, fuck my life. Yeah, so in the movie, it's a 1980 and Freddie just moved into this grand house, and he goes,
Right.
he goes, "What do you think, darling?" And Roger goes, could it be any gayer? And Freddie thought he was talking about his mustache. She's like, "No, the house." And that's my brother. Could it be any gayer?
that is that is so fucking accurate. That's so on point.
My poor bro. Okay. Anyway, we've really blown off.
Yeah,
topic.
I was just gonna say we everything interweaved together, and we're like, oh yeah, right. We were talking about the finale. We've given you our thoughts on the finale. We weren't impressed, to say the least.
No.
It was a good episode for an episode, but it was not a good finale.
Right.
It was lackluster. Didn't come to a good climactic end.
And I think it was very, very laid back and boring as far as finales go. I wanted action. I wanted something to happen. I didn't want to know that Aegon's cock didn't work.
That, oh, do you know what happens when flame gets to it? It just explodes. Like, okay.
Yeah, like totally unnecessary to know.
Yeah,
But whatever. I
that
didn't write the screenplay or the I didn't write it, so I can only bitch. But yeah, I was not happy with it, and agree with you. It was very lackluster and very minimal and not worthy to bear the title finale.
yeah, it was just a letdown. It was just a letdown for everything that I expected it, because we know what's supposed to be coming, and it's just not up to par.
Yep.
It could have been better. It kind of let us down.
Yep.
Do better. House of Dragons,
Do
do
better.
better.
I'm telling you, that first episode of season 3 better rock my fucking world. That's all
If it doesn't, I'm
and I
going to
better
be
not be 60 when it happens.
I'm going to be so mad. Just so freaking mad. Like, it needs to be the best season opener ever. Like, I think honestly, my favorite episode from this season was the episode where Rhaenys and Meleys go into battle and die. Like, that would have been a phenomenal season finale. I would have been brokenhearted for months, but
especially if they ended the season finale with that ending from that episode, which was her and Melee's just falling.
oh, yeah.
That would have been like, yeah, top 10 as far as finales go. So, anyways, we thank you for listening to our TED Talk on. Because they're not even shows anymore; they're TED Talks. I don't even know what TED Talk means, but it sounds fun to say.
I was just gonna say it's a TED Talk. That's what we're gonna call it from now on.
What's going on next week? Don't have a clue. Taylor and I are gonna have to sit and brainstorm about what we can do through the week for mini episodes.
I think this will be when we start doing our
ethical questions.
Yes.
Yes. We'll talk more about that later.
Yep. I was going to say, I'm thinking that's what we're going to get into doing next, to start doing our ethical questions, where we'll post the ethical question the day before we post our video response to it.
Right.
Just to get people interacting with it and then giving our 2 cents on it.
Exactly. Sounds good. So we thank you for joining us for this hour and 45 minutes of ranting and raving.
Our lunacy.
Just remember, y'all signed up for this.
Yeah, you guys are like, we want to hear more from these crazy women. It's fun.
And we will talk to you soon. I know we will. Catch you on the flip side.
Ciao.